Wait, what about weird?
Hi, I'm Elena,
And I'm Echo.
and this is our podcast, What About Weird? A podcast discussing all things weird from cryptids and aliens to strange science and unhinged history. Today, we are re recording an episode because technology hates us. So it may be seem a little funky the way we're talking because we recorded an episode on the road for we as you guys know, we went on a little bit of a trip and we did a bunch of like fun, cool, weird stuff. And so we were trying to record as we went, and we were using these portable mics. We probably should have tested this before we decided to try and record, but whatever.
Yeah,
And
for real.
before we committed to this. And between road noises, technology hating us, the microphones and everything, it's all wonky and we can't use those audio files because yeah. But
Yeah, so we're basically going to recap our road trip and tell you guys about some of like the awesome things that you can see in these regions, but we're not going to remember all the details and we're going to be less excited about it now.
yeah, because there was some stuff that happened that we had recorded that we'll get to, but we're recording stuff and stuff happened as we're recording that we didn't
Yeah, it
plan.
was coming at you live basically.
Yeah, and we like got super excited and turned into some little dorks about it, little nerdy dorks. And now we have it, but you guys will never be able to hear it because we don't understand how technology works. It's a miracle we
Yeah,
make
it
this
also just
podcast work.
sounds so bad.
Ah, yeah. Ain't that just the way? So,
Okay.
you listened to those and took the notes. So,
Yes.
I guess
So
we should
we
start by describing the idea behind this trip.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind the trip was basically I wanted to go out and see my friends in the Chicago area. And we live in North Carolina, so we decided to take one route up and then another route on the way back. So we got to kind of cover more areas. So we kind of went through Kentucky, Tennessee on the way there. And then on the way back, it was mainly
Ohio and
Indiana,
West
Ohio.
Virginia.
Yeah. And so we left on a Sunday, and this was when we were going up through Kentucky and Tennessee, and we drove up to Mammoth Caves. Oh, and on the way there, we went to a Bucky's, which
I
Elena
had
had never
somehow
been in.
never been. I don't think
Actually,
you'd ever
I
been to a
hadn't.
Bucky's
No, I
either.
hadn't either. I don't know why. I was
Yeah,
like,
but I'm
Elena had never
from the
been.
South. You're not.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So it makes more sense for me to not have gone.
but they did recently put a Bucky's in, like, or they're working on one like an hour from where we live. But yeah, we went to Bucky's and we couldn't find the bathrooms and had a panic attack and just
Dude,
left
that
with
place was.
drinking baked goods.
Yeah, that place was
Oh,
fucking
and the
insane.
sandwiches. They had some good ass
Oh,
barbecue
their
sandwiches.
barbecue is amazing. I'm not gonna lie, that was crazy. But it's like a mall. Like, I swear to God, it's
Yeah,
so weird.
it's like all Bucky's themed stuff, which is wild to me. It's not just like, here's anything you can get you might want on a road trip. It's like, here's anything you can get you might want on a road trip, but we stuck a beaver on it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we did on the drive up there, though. And then when we got
To
to
Mammoth
Mammoth Caves,
Caves.
we stayed in the historic cottages, which were so cute.
Those were so cool. They were so cute and really reasonably priced.
Very
Um,
reasonably priced.
and we talked, I think we briefly talked about it in one of the Mammoth Cave episodes we released earlier this month, but they had like historic photos in them, and these were some of the original cabins when they first started doing the like when the park first became a thing and people could stay there. So it was like maybe a dozen spread out in these woods, dozen, 2 dozen different size cabins that you could stay in. So it was really cool. Yeah, and we got there super late, so we just kind of passed out. And then the next day, we packed up, and you got to do your first ghost hunt.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I brought just a few little things here and there, and we didn't get to do anything too in depth because we were trying to see some stuff before we hit the road. It was just like a quick little 5-10 minute
Yeah.
investigation and radio tuned to static and EFM reader. We were just kind of messing around with, but we got some cool action with that. So that was sick.
Yeah. And we were like asking the presence there if it was like someone that worked there and
Yeah, it was
was
like
that
a
what it was?
groundskeeper
A
is
groundskeeper,
what
that's
we
what it
got a
was.
response to. And then we were asking like, where in the cabin are you? And they would point to different directions, and the EFM reader and the dowsing rods both matched up and would like the dowsing rods pointed to this one section and the EFM reader would go off when you pointed it in that section, which is really cool. And then at one point it sounded like somebody was mumbling, and these cabins like aren't connected to the other cabins. They're like standalone little things, and when we left, there were people in the cabin next to us, so it might have been them, but we didn't hear any of what they were saying until they were out of their cabin and we were out of our cabin. And they were like talking as they were leaving, so it could have been them, could not have, But that was really cool.
It was really cool. It was a really neat experience. I like left with goosebumps and I was kind of excited about it.
Yeah, you were all happy about like we got to do a ghost hunt, and you're like, that's so cool. We got all these responses. So I'm happy you got to do a little ghost hunt and it got to be there.
Me too. That was awesome. And then we
I,
had the extended cave tour booked, but of course we didn't go because the government was shut down at the time. So we just went into the entrance and then we
did the
kind of
museum, have like a little museum
oh
in the
yeah,
visitor center, which has a lot of great information, and I used a lot of that for my research.
I did too, yeah. Oh, we
And
went to a bunch of graveyards and we saw the grave of Floyd Collins, but we talked a little bit about that in the Mammoth Caves episode.
yeah, and that's
And
the picture I posted of his gravestone, is a picture that we took when we were there. Um,
awesome. I love being able to post our own photos on our episodes.
I
Like
know,
that's so
that's so
cool.
cool. That's so cool. I can't wait to post all the pictures from this trip.
There's gonna be so
But
many.
oh, we have so many. I'm so glad Instagram lets you post like 20 pictures now,
Yeah,
because
it's
we got
crazy.
a lot.
You might
Um,
have to do a part 1 and a part 2 post, honestly.
Maybe. Let's see. We also, what
Oh, we
else did
went
we
to
do?
the Mammoth Cave Wildlife Museum, which was crazy.
That was cool. And we went to that because that opened up before the visitor center. We drove out of the park, went to that, and it's not like Mammoth Cave wildlife, like wildlife at Mammoth Cave. It's wildlife just like in general, and it's like a
Yeah,
taxidermy museum, which is really sick. But we went
it
there and
was
then
pretty
we went
cool.
back to the visitor center to do everything else.
Yeah, we ate
But
at the Green River Grill, which I thought was gonna be super expensive because it's, like, at a national park, and it was
and it was
so cheap.
super fancy looking.
It
Also, was amazing. It was
it was
delicious.
so good.
I think about
Yeah,
those grilled cheese
fantastic.
still.
I love a grown-up grilled cheese.
It was so good.
I don't think we did anything else that day except for drive the rest of the way to Chicago, though.
Um, Let me see. Drove the rest of the way. We stopped. No, that was a different day that we stopped at the Davy Crockett, the place with the
That was the
giant Davy
first
Crockett
day.
statue.
I didn't
That was the
even
first
know
day.
if that was worth mentioning, though, because it's just the Davy Crockett Travel Center. It's
Yeah,
just a little
it's just
goofy
travel
thing.
center with a giant picture of Davy, or giant statue of Davy Crockett, and that Davy Crockett has seen some shit. But yeah, he looked like he was on drugs. Anyway, I don't think we did anything else that day.
Tuesday
We
was
did
super simple. We kinda just stayed in and did podcast research and recorded
at
episodes, and then we
Chicago.
went on a little yeah, we went on a little walk and ate some Chicago dogs, and we got to pet a cat, and then we went on the ghost tour that night, which was
That was
really
really
cool.
cool. That was with U.S. Ghost Adventures, I think was the company, and it was very informative. I like that they're like, we're meeting here, and this is the exact spot we're meeting at. I've done some other ghost tours where it's like, we're meeting in this park, and it's like, cool, where in this park? And very informative. The guy was very personable and would stop and tell stories that weren't even on the tour. Like at one point he stopped and told us like, hey, this area is where the Chicago Tylenol murders happened. Like a lot of them happened in this neighborhood. And stopped at one house and was like, yeah, this isn't on the tour and I don't have any story about it, but this always like gives me a weird feeling. And we took a whole bunch of pictures of that. And you didn't get a light in the window, but I did, and we were standing like shoulder to
Yeah.
shoulder.
And we took the picture at the same time.
And we're like walking around trying to figure out what could have reflected off of it.
And there was a street lamp, but at no point was it reflecting in like that window. It was higher up. And so we couldn't figure
Yeah.
out where that light was coming from because it was like the inside of the house was dark. And Elena and I took a
Well,
picture
there
at
was
the
like a
same
chandelier
time.
on, but that was it.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't it though, but it was just weird because we both took a picture from the same spot at the same time, and Elena got like a weird little light in hers, and I didn't.
Yeah, so that was cool. And there was a lot of cool history on the tour as well, outside of that. Like we saw the alley where what's his name? John Dillinger? I'm
Yeah.
terrible with remembering names, was like shot and
Yeah,
stuff
for
like
those of
that.
you who don't know, like John Dillinger was, I guess, like he was like a Chicago mobster, right? And he was like in and out of
Mhm.
jail all the time. But I feel like he must have been either really charming or a little bit like Robin Hood in some aspects because the people really liked him for whatever reason. They're like, "Oh yeah, this guy that's like a mobster, the fucking best." Because then like he got shot, right? And then everyone was like flocking his body and like trying to take like souvenirs and shit. And now his dead body is still on display in one of the museums in Chicago.
Which is wild. People love their dark history stuff. Like the whole people listening to true crime podcasts, like the true crime podcasts are a newer phenomenon, but like people have been reading books about this. People are like we're
Well,
collecting like skull fragments and stuff from this guy. So like this is an old thing that's been around.
people used to love to go to fucking like hangings and shit. Like it was like their public
Yeah, and the Victorians
entertainment.
ate mummies.
Weird. People are weird.
Yeah, humans are bizarre. But yeah, we did that, and I almost threw up in the Uber because the man was driving like an insano. Not the tour guide. The tour guide
It was
wasn't. It
crazy.
was we took an Uber there because we didn't want to drive in Chicago, and this man was driving
Thank
all over the place.
God.
And I don't think I've ever gotten that car sick because we stopped so that your friends could get a quick bite to eat, and I'm like, I am gonna go throw up in this bathroom now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he drove like a fucking maniac. But to be fair, I think you have to in that place. Like, thank God we weren't driving. I would not have
Yeah,
been able
but
to drive in that city.
yeah, no, we didn't crash or die or even nearly get close, but the other people that drove the person that drove us back that night wasn't nearly as bad, but like it was rough. I
You know
I'm
what?
not a fan of city traffic.
You know what's funny though is every single time I go over a speed bump, I think about the neighborhood we were staying in
Oh
because the
yeah,
speed bumps were like a fucking foot high, and
and there was no
everybody
way to
that
go
drove
without
over them, yeah,
scratching.
everyone that drove over them like fucking scraped the shit out of the bottom of their car. It was so bad.
You had to like go off to the side, slow way down, and then go so that you were in this little dip between the curb and the speed bump. There's no speed you could go at where you wouldn't absolutely bottom out.
Yeah, it was really bad. Okay, and then on Wednesday, that's when we went up to it was Algonquin, Illinois, and then we were like hanging out up there near some of the lakes, and then we went to Crystal
It was
Lake.
Crystal Lake of Friday the 13th fame.
That was such a cute town. We
It
went to
was
this
so
antique
cute.
shop.
That antique shop was slightly unhinged and I love it.
I cannot get over those freaking like they had to have been high schoolers, right?
Yeah, I think they were like high schoolers that one of them worked in the chocolate shop that was attached to it. Those kids were a riot.
They were cracking me up. And then we kept like laughing at their jokes because they kept fucking with each other, and we thought it was hilarious. So then they started bringing us in on the jokes, and then apparently they thought we were so cool that he was like, "Come on over to the chocolate shop. I'll give you 50% off." And he did. He literally gave us the employee discount that day. It was so sweet.
It was great. It was so sweet. And we got chocolate frogs, little chocolate frogs, and they were delicious. But yeah, I'll have to post some of the unhinged shit we found. It was a political button for, why can I not remember his name? Richard Nixon, that said they can't lick our dick. And then there was also the Adam and Eve Halloween costumes.
Oh my god. They were so funny. They were literally just like tan bodysuits with leaves like safety pinned over the private parts.
It was so good.
The
Let
high
me see if
schoolers fucking loved those ones.
I mean, I did too. I can't blame them.
God, they were the funniest part to me was it was like two high school boys, and then like the one looks at the other one and he's like, "Yo, you should be Adam and I should be Eve for Halloween."
And that's what sent us over the edge.
It was
And that
so
it was that
funny.
and the stop causing, one of them turned to the other and was like, "Stop causing a ruckus." We also met a tiny little dog. I think her name is
Oh my
Bella, or was
god.
Bella or something. Was
She
just
was so
so
fucking
she's
cute.
so cute. She was a little like 3-pound Yorkie that just looked like a cartoon character and was just so adorable and fluffy and sweet.
Literally a teacup Yorkie.
Yeah. And we had Chicago deep dish that day.
We did from Giordano's. It
That
was very good.
hot take, Chicago deep dish is just bread bowls before bread bowls.
Honestly, that's pretty true. Cheese
I liked it though.
marinara and pizza topping
It's
bread bowls.
But it is basically soup and marinara in a bowl of bread, but it is a crust bowl. Change my
Yeah.
mind.
No, that is exactly what it is. That's so funny. Oh, and
So that's
then on the way home, we almost died because some old man tried to drive into us on the fucking highway.
he was driving into, like, not drifting over into our lane and we were in his blind spot. He's drifting over into our lane in our blind spot.
And he could
And I had to
totally
like,
see us.
yeah, he could totally see us. I couldn't see him. You pointed him out to me. I was like,
Like I
"Oh
just like
shit."
looked over all of a sudden. I was like, "Holy fuck."
Yeah, you just saw him creeping up out of the corner of your eye. I swear every time we were driving, when we were driving within like 30 minutes of Chicago, there was always something.
Yeah.
I don't know how people in I'm gonna sound like such a hick saying this, but I don't know how people in cities deal with this traffic.
I
I thought
wouldn't drive
Raleigh,
if I lived there.
yeah, I don't drive. I don't like driving in Charlotte, and I thought Raleigh was bad. I take it back. I will still complain about the traffic and people's driving, but it was nothing compared to that. I swear every single time there's some way we were almost dying. So,
Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
yeah, that was great. Thursday, we
We went to Indiana Dunes,
yeah,
and
we
this time
drove
we're gonna
over.
mention it.
Yes, we forgot to mention it in the original thing. So we were driving, we have some family that live in Indiana, like the northern part of Indiana. So we're driving out that way and we were going to pass Indiana Dunes on the way. It was also closed because of the government being stupid. And we pulled up and we didn't have to pay because it was technically open, or no, it's not technically open, but it wasn't technically closed. They're like, it's public land. We
Yeah.
can't not let you in. But
So it's like the park is closed in the way that like you can't go to the visitor center and there's not really like a park ranger and you don't pay to get into the park,
yeah,
but
and
you can
like the
still go
bathrooms
on
were
the trails.
closed.
I feel like you just cut off really bad there.
I have
No,
shitty,
it's
crappy internet because I live in the middle
oh,
of nowhere.
there you are. You
Am I
magically
back?
reappeared. Yeah, you're back.
Ah! Yeah, no, my internet sucks. Sorry, y'all. We're online for this. But yeah, the dunes were beautiful because it was like hardwood, all these fall foliage hardwood trees on top of these sandy dunes and stuff. And there's like walking trails and stuff you could go along. And it was so frustrating because there weren't any park rangers to help clean up. There's just like trash everywhere. And we're
Yeah.
trying to pick up as much as we can. And we're like, do we pick the trash up that's way off the trail? Because I don't want to walk off the trail because that's bad for the ecosystem, but also the 20 water bottles off the trail are also bad for the ecosystem. But we picked up what we could, and it was so funny because you picked up a bag of dog shit like within the first 100 yards, and we're looking
Yes.
for a trash can, and so you just carried it for the whole like 2/3 mile loop. It was so funny.
I did. I just carried somebody else's dog shit the entire time until I found a trash can.
Yeah. Okay, that was funny. And I picked up like water bottles and stuff. But it was really cool because you could see when you got to the top of the dunes on the trail we took, you could look out over the lakes, and like one side it's, the Great Lakes where you can't see the other side of the lake. But because it's right in that little pinhook of Lake Michigan, it's like just on the other side of the pinhook from Chicago, so we could see it like off in the distance
Yeah, you
across
could
the
literally
water.
see like the city skyline. It was so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. And there was along the trail we took, there were like these signs of this lady that earlier in the last century was like, yeah, screw society, screw the cities, I'm gonna fuck off and live in the dunes. But what was that lady's name?
Well, she's called Diana of the Dunes, but her real name
It's
was
not Diana. I know that much.
was it Betty? No.
Google, help us out.
Yeah, hold on. Alice Mabel Gray. That's what her name was. But she
Yeah.
just like she lived in Chicago and she got fucking sick of Chicago, so she went and just lived in fucking Indiana Dunes, which I love
Yeah.
for there.
I love that for her. And then after that we tried to find the state park. Or yeah, it was the state park we tried to find. It ended up in some gated community. And I swear they must have people get confused all the time because my GPS was trying to direct us down this gated community and like up a side trail just before you got in, and we were
It was
so
just a
confused.
random trail, and your car was
Yeah.
like, turn here, and I was like, turn where?
Yeah, so we pulled around in this little gated community up by this little like security booth, and we're like, "Hey ma'am, can you help us? We're confused." And she's like, "Give me 1 second." Goes into her little booth and comes out with a printed out piece of paper and goes, "Here you go." And then is like, "Have a good day." And we're like, "Okay, cool." She just handed us a whole printout of how to get to it, but it was for where we just were, so we never found the state park.
No, we ended up just going
But
on our way, and we went and saw Elena's family, and
Mhm.
we had a lot of fun there. We got stuck on a pontoon boat for a little bit. It was an
And we had fun
adventure.
swatting flies with my cousin. That was so funny because my family was like, "You guys want to get on the pontoon now?" And we're like, "No, we have to swat the flies."
Like, we're killing all the flies. We're having a good time in here.
Yeah, we got like 30 of them or something. And every
Yeah,
time one of the
there
kids
was.
opened up, every time one of the kids opened up the door, like 40 more flies just flew in.
Yeah, I swear to God, we killed probably like 300 plus flies that day or something.
Yeah, there were so many, but it was a blast. And then, like you said, we were on the pontoon and we just like played games and stuff with my family and hung out and stuff. And that was fun. And then we drove back and almost died again as soon as we got into Chicago. By North Carolina standards, I'm a good driver. I swear.
I know. How come both of them happened while you were driving, Elena?
Because I can't read minds. Also,
No,
because
that's
most of
okay.
them was.
I did have that one weird person in Ohio that they were turning and I was going straight. And
Oh, and
like we
like,
both had a green light and I went because I had a green light and I was going straight and they honked at me and I was like, "Bitch, I'm the one going straight. What are you doing?"
yeah. It was a lot of people being crazy at night, though, and I was doing most of the
Yeah.
night driving. So,
That's true. That's true. Nighttime's always worse.
and we were driving at like nighttime, we were driving at like peak night driving hours.
Mm.
And when we're driving in the morning, nobody was really on the road at like, 10, 9 or 10. A lot of people are already at work, so that's probably why. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think people just hate me on the roads. I have yet to get in a car crash, knock on wood. But
Yeah. Hopefully you never will, because they suck.
yeah, so
On
Friday was Halloween.
Friday, yeah, and we had a blast on Halloween. It
That
was
was
so much fun.
great.
We got home way late, and I'm not gonna lie, public transportation was a little crazy because we got to take the train, a bunch of buses, and the L
I'm
that day, the
obsessed with the
subway.
I'm mildly obsessed with their double-decker trains and how they don't have engines. That's fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
crazy.
so cool. But yeah, we dressed up for Halloween and went around Chicago. I went as a man in black and you were my alien.
And it was so funny because like
And
apparently we
people
looked
kept
so
thinking I
good,
was from the Blues Brothers.
or Michael Jackson.
That too. Any
But
any
well,
costume that requires sunglasses, a suit, and a fedora.
yeah. People wanted a couple photos with us though, so that was cool. We gave them our podcast stickers, so I hope they're listening to this because that would be
Yeah.
insanely funny, but they were really cool.
Yeah, if they're
Um,
listening, you guys made our day. Because they're like, you guys are so cool, let's take a picture. And we're at this cool like statue that looked like metal Fresno night crawlers. And we just like hid among them and they took a picture with us and like, you guys look so cool. And we were just like, someone thinks we look cool.
I
And
know.
all day we're just
I'm
like,
like,
those
no
people
one
were
ever
so
thinks I'm
cool.
cool.
And then right after that, we went to a Taiwanese bakery that
Yeah, I
was
think it was
amazing.
Taiwanese.
Yeah, it was, what was it called? Shoot, I wrote it down. Sweet bean, coffee, and baked goods.
Oh, okay.
I just wrote these things down because I have a friend that's going to Chicago next month or January and was like, I need you to tell me all your recommendations. So I tried to remember to write them down. The buns were amazing and I want 2 million more of them.
Yeah, the bakery was fucking awesome though. And then let's see, we went to
Trinket
Trinket
Fest.
Fest, which was it wasn't as cool as some of the art markets we have here, honestly, because ours are bigger and then also they're free.
And you
Um,
also have more room to spread out at them
yeah,
here because a lot of times it's just like in a field. They're like, we have this field. Come set
but
up. And it,
yeah, and that's the thing is so like we do have fields here. So I don't know. You can't be like too mad that this is the setup that they have going in Chicago because they have to have theirs like inside in a rented space. So then they had to charge you money because they rented that space to have Trinket Fest once a month. So and they have like very limited space.
yeah, but that was still cool to see. And we did get in for free since we were in our Halloween costumes though.
That's true. And I also bought some really cute candles that look like little macaroons.
I bought some candles from the same person, not in little shapes, just the little like tea lights, and they smell amazing.
They smell so
Um,
good.
but yeah, there's a lot of cool little crocheted stuff and stuff. And then from there, we went to the zoo, the
The
Brookfield
Brookfield Zoo.
Zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I haven't been to a zoo in ages, and that was really cool. Um, and they were doing like trick or treating, where they gave you like a bag of candy if you went to the different gift shops and stuff. They would give you candy, and they had an ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos for all the like animals that had died at the zoo and the pets of people who worked at the zoo and were zoo members. So that was really cool.
What was your favorite part of the zoo?
The bat exhibit was really cool. Like the nocturnal
That was fucking
indoor
dope.
exhibits was really cool. And
I liked the polar bear.
I liked the bears. I got a really good picture of that polar
Oh,
bear.
the brown bear was pretty fucking cool too. The
The brown
grizzly.
brown bear, yeah, chewing on his little stick.
He was so cute.
Yeah,
I
I
wish they
know
were
I shouldn't,
friendly.
but I wanted to pet him so bad.
I
Just give him a
know.
little pat, pat, pat.
He was so cute.
But yeah, that was cool. And they put little name tags on their Halloween decorations. So one of them was like they had like a pumpkin-headed spooky guy that had a name tag that said Lewis, and they had a witch that had a name tag that said Broomhilda, and like, which I thought was really cute. But yeah, that was really cool. We got to see a lot of cool birds. Some of the like aviaries were really cool. Oh, your shoe broke at the zoo, and we kept trying to
Oh
fix it.
my God. And I can send you the video if you want that as well, because it was
I think I
fucking
have it.
hilarious.
I think I have it. I don't know. Just the zoom in
I
of
think
your
I did
shoe
send it to
flopping
you.
about.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like, because I was wearing these big platform shoes, and the entire like fucking like 6-inch platform just comes off, like basically
But
completely
it was
except for
just the
the toe.
heel.
Yeah,
And we were trying
it
to
was
figure
like the
out how to
back half of
fix
the
it.
shoe.
We didn't have any tape or anything. So first we took twist ties from our baked goods and like tried to string your shoe together, and the twist ties
That was
broke.
my terrible idea.
And then there's like a screw in your shoe that was holding like the platform bit to the shoe. And we tried just like stomping it in, and that would hold for a little bit. What we ended up doing was finding a hair tie on the ground, hooking it on one of the buttons, and hooking it under the heel of your shoe. Speaking of, do you still need me to repair those shoes for you?
Oh, they're just sitting in my closet.
I
I
can
do
fix them
have,
for you.
I'm pretty sure I have some epoxy here. I just haven't done it because I kind of forgot about it.
Gotcha. Well, I did find the link to where you can get some new ones if you want.
That's true. That's true. And they're not quite as expensive as I remember, but they're still pretty fucking expensive.
Yeah. We did the we went to Chinatown after that.
Chinatown was so cool. It
That
was
was so
probably my
cool. I wish
favorite
we spent
spot
more
in
time.
Chicago.
That was really cool. And it was nifty because they were doing trick or treating in like stores. So kids would come in and like get candy from like the store counters or from the restaurant counters and stuff. But that was just really, really cool. And it was all lit up with all the cool lights and stuff because we were there after dark. Um, and we had such a hard time picking food because everything looked and smelled amazing.
Yeah, but we ended up eating at this restaurant called The Noodle, which was Vietnamese and Thai food, and it was the absolute best. It was
Oh my
so
god, so
good.
good. Probably some of the best pad thai I've ever had, and the tofu was just perfectly cooked.
Oh, the tofu was phenomenal.
I want more right now.
I know, right? I wish I could just like teleport and go to that restaurant.
I know. Teleport exclusively for the Taiwanese baked goods, or not the Taiwanese baked goods and the pad thai. Just only for that. And then we went into a little gifty shop and did our obligatory, I'm going to find a cheap little thing to give people at home to say, "Hey, I was here. Here you go. Here's a fridge magnet."
Yeah, we ended up getting back pretty late on Friday, later than we wanted to because the train took like forever. We did go downtown a little bit and we were gonna go see the Bean, but then there was like an
There was
event
like a
happening in the
Halloween event,
park.
gated Halloween event, and
Yeah,
we're like, "I don't want to deal with that."
no, but yeah, we got to see basically downtown Chicago, all
And
the
we saw a man
pretty
yell at a pizza.
lights.
He yelled at a slice of
Yes, we saw
pizza.
that. We saw what was probably a drone, but a really weird like triangle of green lights in the sky zooming around.
Yeah, it would like move, it would zoom around, and then it would stay still for a while and then zoom around and stay still. I don't know. It was weird. Probably a drone, but it was funky.
Yeah, and then we got home and I think that's all we did on Halloween, right?
Yeah, and then the next day we recorded an episode, grabbed breakfast, and hit the road.
Yeah, pretty much. We went to
Denver's or
the Rice
something.
and Roll Bakery. Oh yeah, we went to
Oh
Denver's
yeah.
restaurant and that it was pretty good food. And then in Indiana, we went to the Rise and Roll Bakery, which was outstanding. They gave us a
And we got
free box of donuts.
2 free boxes of donuts.
Yeah, one was donut holes and one was normal donuts.
They were amazing.
They were so good and they lasted for so long because we got back on Monday and we didn't eat them until Monday and they tasted like they were fresh.
Yeah, they were so good. And you got to see Amish people for the first time.
I did. I'd never seen Amish people before. And it was wild just driving your car around on the road with a bunch of horses and buggies.
Yeah, I just forget that people aren't used to Amish because we have Amish people in North Carolina, and then I've always just seen them like in and around Indiana.
Yeah, I had never
Um,
seen Amish people just doing their daily life. They going to work, and
Amishing it up.
we went to Yoder's department store, which was a really cool place. I got so many tiny spoons.
All of the tiny spoons.
I got
I wish
like
we had
12
more
tiny
time.
spoons.
I wish we had had more time to hang around in Shipshawana because it's such a cute little town and there's a lot of cool stuff
I
and
wanted to
just
go
so
to the
much great
freaking
food.
pretzel place so bad, but we did not have time.
Yeah, that pretzel place, I swear, is one of the best pretzel places ever.
I love pretzels.
Pretzels, they're so good. But yeah, you got the tiny spoons. We got some sodas from out near
Yeah,
your
they were
hometown.
actually Rocky Mountain sodas, which was kind of
Yeah.
funny.
So those were good. We got Huckleberry, and then we got ones that were prickly pear.
Uh-huh.
And did we do anything else that day? We just drove
No, we
straight
just
to
drove
Ohio.
to Ohio. Yeah, we stayed at a
And
place near Columbus.
yeah, and you made me watch Any Which Way But Loose, which is
Yes, I love that movie so much.
it's so funny. And we got Kroger's sushi and just ate it in the hotel room. Love that for us.
It was outstanding. And then Sunday we woke up pretty early. We accomplished a lot on
We did
Sunday.
so much. I don't even remember the orders we did stuff in.
So we went to Cornhenge first, which is just like a field with like a bunch of statues of corn. And then we
It
went
wasn't
to
even
the
like
Leather
Stonehenge
Lips.
shaped.
No, it was just like rows of fucking
Of ears
like,
of like
concrete corn.
6 foot tall, just in this little field, and we're just like Cornhenge. We took some pictures and then just dipped.
It was awesome. And then we went to the Leather Lips Monument, which was basically for this like Native American chief that apparently the white people called him Leather Lips because I guess he never broke his vows. But
That name doesn't make any sense.
They attacked him anyway and then ended up having to fight each other. So, you know. Oh, we went to Tim Hortons and got a
Gates of
coffee,
Hell.
and then behind the Tim Hortons were the Gates of Hell, which was
Bad
I'm
vibes
not
all
gonna
around.
lie, yeah, it was a little terrifying.
Yeah, we're gonna put a sticker here and then dip because I feel like shit standing here. It was really weird and creepy, and we felt bad, and we're like, okay, let's take a picture, put a sticker up, bye. But Tim Hortons was good.
Because it wasn't like at first, like when you look at the photos, you're like, oh, it's just this graffitied on bridge, like whatever. But then you get there and you're like, this is a bad place.
Yeah, it's like caged off and shit with like I-beams spray painted, and you get there and like your stomach just like drops as soon as you like. But if you just see pictures of it, you're like, oh, it's just like a spray painted like teenage hangout area. But I'd be curious to know some of the history there.
Yeah, it wouldn't
because if you look on Atlas Obscura, it's just like an unfortunately named tunnel. And we were just looking for shit to kill time.
Have
and that
at
was
least
right
gotten
over there.
stabbed there because that place was not chill.
Definitely assaulted.
And then after that, we went to Ohio State University because we were gonna go look at
see the Arnold Schwarzenegger statue.
Oh, we did! I forgot about him.
And we couldn't figure out if we could park there or not. So you parked, left the car running. I ran out and took a picture. I found out why that statue is in Ohio right there. They do bodybuilding competitions in like that area, and I think in that specific building it's in front of. So that's just why that's there. But that was cool. And then we went to Ohio State.
Yeah, we went to Ohio State because we were going to look at some rare UFO books, but then it turns out the rare books collection is only Monday through Friday and by appointment only, which, I mean, we probably should have known, but we didn't. So the librarian was like super nice to like look up any UFO books so that she could see.
I love librarians so much. Librarians are the God's gift to humanity, I swear.
They're so sweet.
If you're listening to this and you're a librarian, we love you.
Yeah, so she was super cool to just basically give us the like numbers to a whole bunch of like places where we could still do research. So we found a couple of books that we liked that we could just order and read at home, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that
So we still
was
got
really
some
cool.
research
We
done.
found
We
like
ate
the
some.
whole Roswell file or something. Like
Oh yeah, the
Roswell
entire
report.
Roswell report. Yeah, it was fucking massive too.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, and then we got some good food and we passed by was it the animation museum in
Yeah, that
Ohio
looked
State?
cool.
But it was closed since it was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really cool, and that might be something that I'd want to go back to. I don't think we did anything else in Ohio.
We basically just like kept driving. I know at some point we went through, and this might have been the day before, but we went through Fort Wayne, which we called Fort Wine because we couldn't fucking find any signs anywhere.
It would just
And
said welcome to downtown and Southern High School, Northern High School, not like North Fort Wayne High School. It was so weird. Oh, and
like
we
we couldn't
passed through
find the town
Churubusco.
name anywhere. We did pass through
Churubusco, sorry.
Churubusco. I know I keep mispronouncing it
I
because
know, it's
I
so
heard you
hard.
say it like that.
And that's what inspired me to do my episode that's coming out soon.
Yeah,
On
it'll be
that.
out next week.
Yeah, and yeah, so that was really cool. We're just driving and it's like, welcome to Turtletown, USA. And I'm like, hang on, I know this town. And I just got really excited. And that's the part that we were actively recording originally when that happened.
Yeah, and then you looked over, there was a
Um,
turtle statue, and you were like, wait, what the fuck? Where are we?
yeah, and then it's like home of Oscar, and I'm like, I know Oscar. And I just got really, really excited because I've wanted to do an episode on the Beast of Busco for a while, and I was just like, I'm doing it. So that
Yeah.
was cool. And
So
it,
you
like
guys are going to get to
everything's
hear
turtle.
about that next week, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So that was really cool. And then we got to Point Pleasant after we left Ohio State. We drove to Point Pleasant and we went to the Mothman Museum, which was
Which was
sick.
so cool. I loved it. I would go a
It
million
was
more
so cool.
times.
That was my second time going, and I went a couple of years ago, and I'm like, I could go again and again. We took pictures of Mothman's butt, as you're supposed to. Took pictures with the Mothman statue. But yeah, there's so much cool stuff in the museum. If you haven't gone, I highly recommend going. They have original paper clippings, art people have done, stuff about like the Men in Black, Project Blue Book. It's not just Mothman, but it's really cool. And we spent too much money in the gift shop.
Oh my god, I spent so much, but
So
they
many
had so
books.
much cool shit. And then we got to kind of walk along the river and there were a bunch of like
Oh yeah,
murals and there were a
yeah.
bunch of
So
statues that are done by
what?
the man that did the Mothman statue.
Yeah, that was really cool. So what happened was we were staying in Gallipolis, Ohio, which is just across the river in like the Ohio side from West Virginia, like a 5-minute drive. So we're like, okay, we're here. It's like 4:30. We have so much time to kill. What are we gonna do? So we asked the people at the Mothman Museum, like, hey, what do you recommend as far as food and stuff to do? And they're like, well, if you take the road straight down towards the river from the Mothman Museum, you hit this state park, which is the battle site of the Battle of Point Pleasant, and that loops around to this river walk that Echo was talking about that has all these statues and murals and stuff. And there's like pictograph rocks and like a few historic buildings and stuff. But yeah, all those statues were really cool and the murals were really well done. And we were there at sunset and it was just stunning.
It was like I took some of the most beautiful pictures of bridges that I've ever taken. It was just absolutely beautiful. I loved being there.
It's a really pretty, beautiful area. And then we found the Silver Bridge Memorial plaque and we went to, what was it, Village Pizza?
I think that was the name of it, which was a cute little
Yeah,
place. Their wings were fantastic.
oh my
And
God,
they have a Mothman pizza, but we did not get the Mothman pizza because there was a bunch of stuff that we don't need on there.
yeah, but it's like a little pizza with they make the toppings into Mothman shape. But the wings were really good. The wings were amazing, and then we just went to our hotel room and watched movies and stuff.
Yeah, I watched Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and it was so good. I literally watched it for a second time with Nate last week, and then
I'm so happy I can now reference that to you on the pod, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't care if anyone else knows, but you will know.
and then I decided to listen to an audiobook version, like a newer translation of the Odyssey in audiobook form. So I just finished that today. And
Which, for those of
then
you who don't know, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is a twist take on the Odyssey. It's like the Odyssey, but if it was in Kentucky or Mississippi in the 1930s, and George Clooney could sing.
it was
He
it
actually
was
does a lot
really
of singing in the
good.
movie, and he's really good. But
Yeah. But basically now it's kind of got me down like this like little rabbit hole because I read the Odyssey and now I want to go back and like listen to the Iliad, but I want to find like a newer, better translation and not such a like a stuffy version.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the translations are all, oh, well, we're going to try and use ancient English because we're translating it from ancient Greek. But like, I'm sorry, the language we use now is just as far away from ancient Greek as ancient English is away from ancient Greek. It's ancient Greek. It's not going to be close to either of those. So you might as well just
Yeah,
talk like an actual fucking human being.
yeah, it's a whole thing. Interestingly enough, when I did the Mammoth Cave episode, I now like wanna we briefly touched on Thoreau, and now I'm like, I want to read the Transcendentalist writings. So once I get more audiobook time on Spotify, I'm gonna be diving into that. So I'm sorry
It's
if I get
criminal.
annoying.
It's criminal how little audiobook time that they give you on
I
Spotify.
know.
So fucked up,
It's
and
like
it's
10
so
hours.
expensive to get more. It's like
Yeah. Ugh.
$12 for 10 hours, and I'm like, none of the audiobooks I even listen to are 10 hours long. Try like fucking
Yeah.
30 to 50.
Yeah. Most of the ones I listen to are like 8 to 15. And I always
Crazy.
end up running out of audiobook time in the last like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Anyway, after the next day after we were at Point Pleasant, we were just driving home and we did go to the beef jerky experience.
But that is gonna be a whole separate episode.
Yes. All you need to know is it's a truck stop that has this giant selection of beef jerky, and we bought a good portion of the giant selection of
We
jerkies.
we bought so much. It was crazy.
We
We should
spent
not
like,
have
but
spent that much.
no, jerky is so expensive. Between the two of us, we probably spent $150 on jerky for like little ass
Yeah.
packs.
Yeah, it was
It
crazy.
was, yeah, too much. They did not have the prices on anything.
No, they
Um,
didn't. We just grabbed shit. There is no pricing.
but yeah, it was like a beef jerky, like a jerky outlet. So we got a bunch of stuff. But yeah, you guys get to find out about that later. That's gonna be what, like our New Year's special or something?
Yeah, it's just gonna be like a short little like stupid episode with beef jerky ratings.
Yeah, because we don't want to jump right back into oh, we're gonna have to redo that.
Yes, we are.
We also
Unfortunately.
did that on the road in the moment.
But I'm gonna have to re-listen to that and write down our ratings.
Yeah, but yeah, because we don't want to jump right back into a researched episode, so you're gonna get that before a researched episode.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then we just got home and we chilled out. So we were wiped.
Yeah. My dog had dental surgery the next day.
Yeah, poor fella.
But yeah, that was our trip. Now you guys know what to do, and
Yeah, you have
honestly
some
there
cool
weren't a
places.
whole lot of directions on what not to do because we did all the coolest things.
Yeah, the only thing I would say not to do is drive in Chicago.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, unless you understand how city driving works, because clearly we don't.
How sitting driving works. I sure hope you sit when you drive.
I only stand when I drive.
You're just flooring it the entire time because you're standing.
You know when you're like a kid and you're trying to drive like a tractor or like a sit mower and you're like standing there, you know? You know what I'm talking about? This isn't
Yeah.
just like a me experience, is it?
No,
That's how I drive my car.
that's so funny. All right.
City
Well,
driving. Anyway,
do you want me to do the outro?
yeah, go ahead and do the outro.
The outro. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, please rate the podcast and share it with the weird people in your life. Follow us on Instagram at whataboutweird.pod, where we often share pictures related to the episodes. We are also on Blue Sky as What About Weird Pod. If you have any topic suggestions or personal weird stories, please DM us or email us at whataboutweirdpod@gmail.com
And always remember,
to ask about the weird. Bye
bye
for
for now.
now.